All right, man. So you had Isaac Tesla, and I seen on Wilbur Sports, they're talking about Tesla's basically making Tim Patrick expendable, and shout out to them. But at the end of the day, man, fans don't be knowing shit. People don't be knowing shit about football, right? Tim Patrick, has been doing what he been doing versus why he been in Detroit, and when he was healthy versus top corners. Isaac Tesla has not been doing this versus top corners in a real football game. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. So if you want to say, well, we can just cut Isaac, Tim Patrick right now. I mean, first and foremost, have you seen how many Detroit Lions have hit the dirt, have been on IR? And you want to get rid of a receiver that's not costing you that much money and said, well, we're going to play Isaac Tesla and we don't need Tim Patrick. The minute you say you don't need Tim Patrick is the minute another receiver going to go down. One thing you must know and two things you got to know for sure is this to the point where you're trusting guys that's been there before. You don't go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to throw it all on the rookie. Okay, throw it on the rookie and see what happens. You know what Tim Patrick is going to give you. So just because Isaac Tesla is having a good camp and a good preseason versus players that probably won't even be on the NFL roster, let alone maybe even start an NFL game. Think about that for a minute. Trust. You want to be able to trust a guy in a minute. The Lions ain't a team that's just vying to make the playoffs or a team that just, won't win a couple games. If that's the case, then you allow Tim Patrick to go on somewhere and try to win a championship. You're vying for a championship. Are you going to say, oh, Teslas look good? Okay, you get to the regular season and they start him over Tim Patrick, which is honestly, Tim Patrick is kind of really like the number one, number two receiver because, for most alignments or some alignments, Ahmad Ross lining up in the slot. So you're counting on him to be one or two. So are you ready for Isaac Tesla to step in versus the number one and number two corners in the National Football League? No, there is no rush. He can come in, play the third or fourth receiver in situations, and you build towards that. Now, if you telling me, hey, in practice, he dominating, DJ Reed, or he's dominating Terrion Arnold, and you get to the games and you put him in there and he's dominating, the Patrick Surtains of the league, or he's dominating the Jalen Johnsons of the world, then hey man, then we having a totally different conversation than we having right now. We're having a totally different conversation. But right now, saying because he looks good versus guys that's not going to be on a roster, or even he look good in one-on-ones or some practice, that's okay, cool. That's practice. But I'm not cutting a guy that I know exactly what he's going to give me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cutting a guy that I know exactly what he's going to give me. You know what I'm saying? No. And Tim Patrick had a bad camp. Oh, so be it. We seen it with the Pistons where, Tobias get off to a slow start. Y'all panic. What's the other brother's name? Tim Hardaway get off to a slow start. Y'all panic. Dog, sometimes these veterans, cool, it's training camp. But when the lights show up, you know what he's going to be capable of. So this whole thing, or we can move on from Tim. The Lions don't even have the attrition to be able to do that. Even though they're fairly healthy at receiver as I speak, they don't even have the attrition to be able to say to get rid of a NFL quality wide receiver or starting caliber wide. You don't even have the attrition to deal with that. The minute you do that is the minute one of your main receivers is going to go down. So let's talk about that. He's still going to start. Training camp is nothing for veterans. Veterans are just going through the motions. When the lights come on, now if y'all end up putting Isaac Tesla here and there, and he's dominating NFL caliber, cornerbacks, then we can start having that conversation of moving Tim Patrick around or moving Khalif Raymond around or whatever that situation may be. But too many people live in a shock world. That's not real. What you're seeing in preseason is not a real football game. That's not going to be, oh, the game of the week on CBS versus the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, you heard me right. That's not going to be the game of the week. You know, that's not the game of the week versus the Falcons. So all this tomfoolery and stuff of that nature is training camp. Tim Patrick is going to be fine. Tim Patrick is going to be fine. He's going to be fine. You know, you got to understand, he coming off the first full healthy year. So this is the first year he ain't rehabbing. So he probably get to go out there, enjoy vacations and stuff, man. Most veterans would be ready when the lights come on. He'd be ready when the lights come on. Or maybe he may be out his prime. Maybe he may be done in his prime. Maybe he just had one good hurrah left. I doubt that. I doubt it. I doubt it. So, you know, like I continue to say, man, that you got to understand, they need a lot of these content creators, they need to find content, shot content. That's all it is shot content. Because you got to understand the X's and O's, and fans don't give a hell about that. That's why they don't like Tony Romo. You remember Mike Valenti? Oh, I'm tired of Tony Romo, and you know he just sitting here and he's predicting the play. They're not real football fans. That's why the reason why Madden would never be a real football game. Madden is really blitz. That's all it is. It's blitz. They don't have a real depiction of a football game. They just don't. It's really blitz. It's really NFL blitz. It's fake. Because most people, if it was an actual football game, most people couldn't play because they don't understand football. Same thing with talking football. Most people don't care about the X's and O's and the language and the coverages. They just want digestible football that they can understand and comprehend on the surface level. That's when they be like, you know, somebody say something in medical terms or they say it in lawyer terms. And they like, what does it mean in layman's terms? Make it digestible, make it simple. That's kind of what they want in football. But hey, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button, it's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. Hit the link in the description. The link tree is the first link there. X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Peace.